The year was 1826. A formidable structure began to rise on the outskirts of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. This was no ordinary building. This was Western Penitentiary, a new experiment in punishment. It was designed to hold society's most hardened criminals. Western Penitentiary was founded on the principle of solitary confinement. This was known as the separate system. The idea was simple yet radical. Isolate prisoners from each other. This was meant to force deep introspection and rehabilitation. Each inmate had his own cell. They were forbidden from speaking or interacting with others. The prison's architecture reflected this philosophy. Thick, imposing walls enclosed the facility. Guard towers loomed at strategic corners. The cells themselves were small and Spartan. They contained only a cot, a toilet, and a Bible. The designers believed that this environment would break the spirit of even the most hardened criminal. They hoped to transform them into penitent citizens. Little did they know the stage was being set for a centuries-long battle of wits. This battle would pit inmate ingenuity against the ever-evolving fortress of prison security. The imposing walls of Western Penitentiary, however, could not entirely contain the human desire for freedom. These walls, built to be unyielding and formidable, stood as a testament to the institution's belief in the power of isolation. Yet within these very walls, the indomitable spirit of the inmates began to stir, seeking ways to break free from their confines. The promise of the separate system, to break the spirit and inspire reform through isolation, proved naive. The theory was that solitude would lead to penitence and ultimately reform. However, the reality was far different. Instead of fostering reflection and remorse, the isolation often led to despair and a heightened desire for human connection. Inmates, starved for connection and desperate for escape, soon found ways to challenge the prison's design. They developed intricate methods of communication, tapping on walls, whispering through cracks, and even using the plumbing to send messages. These acts of defiance were small but significant, showcasing the resilience and ingenuity of the human spirit. One of the earliest documented escapes occurred within the first few decades of the prison's operation. This escape became a legend among the inmates, a story of hope and possibility in a place designed to crush such dreams. The details of this escape were meticulously planned and executed, a testament to the determination and resourcefulness of those involved. Details are scarce, lost to time, and the prison's own reluctance to publicize its vulnerabilities. The administration preferred to keep such incidents under wraps, fearing that public knowledge would undermine their authority and encourage further attempts. Yet, the whispers of these escapes persisted, passed down from one generation of inmates to the next. But the story, passed down through whispers and rumors, tells of an ingenious plan. It involved careful observation, patience, and a deep understanding of the prison's routines and weaknesses. The inmates knew that their only chance of success lay in their ability to outthink and outmaneuver their captors. The escape involved exploiting a flaw in the prison's ventilation system. This system, designed to provide fresh air to the isolated cells, became the very means of their potential freedom. The inmates discovered that the grates and ducts, though seemingly secure, had weaknesses that could be exploited. The ventilation system, ironically, was meant to ensure the isolation of inmates. It was intended to prevent the spread of disease and maintain a sterile environment. However, the very design that was meant to isolate them became a lifeline, a conduit for communication, and ultimately escape. However, this network of communication was their lifeline, a way to maintain a sense of community and solidarity in the face of overwhelming isolation. The exact method remains a mystery, but the result was very real. The escapees managed to navigate the labyrinthine ducts and grates, finding their way to freedom. Their success was a beacon of hope for those left behind, a reminder that even the most secure systems have their flaws. Inmates, using only the simplest of tools, managed to manipulate the ventilation system. They fashioned makeshift tools from whatever materials they could find, using their ingenuity to overcome the limitations imposed on them. This resourcefulness was a testament to their determination and will to survive. They created a passage through which they could crawl to freedom. This narrow, claustrophobic route was their only hope, and they took it with courage and resolve. The journey through the ventilation ducts was fraught with danger, but the promise of freedom was worth the risk. This early breach, though shrouded in secrecy, had lasting consequences. It forced the prison administration to confront the reality that their system was not infallible. The escape highlighted the need for constant vigilance and adaptation in the face of evolving threats. It forced the prison administration to acknowledge the limitations of their perfect system. They realized that no matter how well designed their prison was, the human spirit's desire for freedom could not be entirely suppressed. This realization led to significant changes in their approach to security. The prison immediately reinforced the ventilation shafts and ducts. They brought in experts to redesign and fortify these systems, ensuring that future escape attempts would be much more difficult. This was a costly and time-consuming process, but it was deemed necessary to maintain control. They also increased surveillance in an attempt to prevent future escapes. New technologies were implemented, including surveillance cameras and motion detectors, to monitor inmate activities more closely. Guards were trained to be more observant and proactive in identifying potential threats. This marked the beginning of a constant cycle. Inmates would find weaknesses, and the prison would respond with tighter security. This cat-and-mouse game became a defining feature of Western Penitentiary's history, a testament to the ongoing struggle between control and freedom. This back and forth would define Western Penitentiary's long history. The prison's story is one of adaptation and resilience, both on the part of the inmates and the administration. It serves as a powerful reminder of the enduring human spirit and the lengths to which people will go to seek freedom, even in the most oppressive circumstances. As the 20th century dawned, a new era of change and modernization began to sweep across many institutions, including the Western Penitentiary. Western Penitentiary underwent significant modernization efforts, aimed at improving the living conditions and security measures within its walls. These efforts were part of a broader movement to reform the penal system and make it more humane and efficient. However, despite these efforts, a brazen escape in the 1930s exposed glaring weaknesses in its security. This event would serve as a stark reminder that even the most well-intentioned reforms could fall short if not properly implemented. This escape would become part of the prison's legend, a tale told and retold over the years, highlighting the audacity and cunning of those who dared to defy the system. Ralph "Babe" Kenney, a notorious bank robber, was the mastermind behind this daring feat. Known for his criminal exploits and his ability to outsmart the authorities, Kenney's name would go down in history as one of the most infamous escape artists of his time. Kenney, known for his charisma and intelligence, had been plotting his escape from the moment he stepped inside the prison walls. His mind was always working, always looking for an opportunity to break free. He meticulously studied the prison's routines, identifying vulnerabilities in its security apparatus. Kenney's plan was audacious, involving a level of detail and precision that was truly remarkable. It involved a carefully orchestrated sequence of events, exploiting a blind spot in the prison yard surveillance. This blind spot was a small area that the guards could not see, and it was here that Kenney saw his chance. During one exercise period, Kenney and two accomplices made their move. They had been waiting for the perfect moment, and when it came, they acted swiftly and decisively. Using a makeshift ladder fashioned from stolen materials, they scaled the towering perimeter wall. The ladder was a crude but effective tool, and it allowed them to reach the top of the wall quickly. Guards caught off guard were too slow to react. By the time they realized what was happening, Kenney and his accomplices were already over the wall and on their way to freedom. The trio vanished into the surrounding woods, disappearing into the dense foliage and leaving the prison staff in a state of shock and disbelief. The Kenney escape sent shockwaves through the Pennsylvania penal system. It was a wake-up call that highlighted the need for significant security upgrades and a re-evaluation of the prison's procedures. In response, the prison authorities took immediate action. They began a series of security upgrades, aimed at preventing any future escapes and ensuring that the prison was as secure as possible. The prison responded by installing brighter floodlights in the yard. These powerful lights illuminated every corner of the yard, eliminating any potential blind spots and making it much harder for anyone to attempt an escape. They also added barbed wire to the top of the walls. This additional barrier made it even more difficult for anyone to climb over the walls, adding an extra layer of security. Most importantly, they increased the number of guards on duty, especially during peak activity times. This ensured that there were always enough eyes watching over the inmates, reducing the chances of any future escape attempts. The 1970s ushered in an era of social upheaval. Across the globe, people were challenging the status quo, demanding change, and fighting for their rights. This period was marked by a series of protests, civil rights movements, and a general sense of rebellion against established norms. This unrest found its way inside prison walls, as inmates became more organized and daring in their bids for freedom. The spirit of resistance and the desire for liberation were not confined to the streets. They permeated the very institutions meant to contain and control. The 1971 escape from Western Penitentiary stands as a testament to this growing sophistication. It was a time when the ingenuity and determination of inmates were put to the ultimate test, challenging the very foundations of prison security. This escape was not the work of a single criminal mastermind, but a collaborative effort. It showcased the power of collective action, where each member played a crucial role in the success of the plan. A group of inmates, led by a cunning trio, meticulously planned and executed their escape. These individuals, each with their own unique skills and knowledge, came together to form a formidable team. They relied on smuggled contraband, including detailed maps and fake IDs. These items were not easy to come by and required a network of contacts both inside and outside the prison. Their plan capitalized on a weakness in the prison's infrastructure. The aging facilities, with their outdated security measures, provided the perfect opportunity for exploitation. The inmates discovered a network of tunnels and maintenance shafts beneath the prison. These hidden passages, often overlooked by the authorities, became the key to their escape. These tunnels, long forgotten and poorly secured, became their secret pathway to freedom. The darkness and neglect of these passages worked in their favor, providing cover and concealment. Over several weeks, the group, working under the cover of darkness, used makeshift tools to widen the tunnels. Their efforts were painstaking and required immense patience and perseverance. They navigated the labyrinthine passages, painstakingly moving towards their target, a point beyond the prison walls. Each step was fraught with danger, but their determination never wavered. Their efforts culminated in a daring nighttime escape. Under the cloak of night, they made their move, hoping that the darkness would shield them from detection. They emerged from a manhole outside the prison, disappearing into the urban landscape. The city, with its myriad of hiding places and bustling activity, provided the perfect cover for their getaway. This elaborate escape exposed the vulnerability of even seemingly secure facilities. It was a stark reminder that no system is infallible, and that human ingenuity can find a way through even the most formidable barriers. In response, Western Penitentiary invested heavily in upgrading its security technology. The escape served as a wake-up call, prompting a comprehensive review and overhaul of the prison's security measures. Motion sensors and alarm systems were installed throughout the prison. These new technologies were designed to detect any unauthorized movement and alert the guards immediately. Regular inspections of the tunnels and maintenance areas became standard procedure. The authorities were determined to prevent any future escapes by ensuring that every potential weak point was monitored and secured. However, this cat-and-mouse game between security measures and escape attempts was far from over. As long as there are prisons, there will be those who seek to outsmart the system, constantly pushing the boundaries of what is possible.